Hi there, young artists. It's Mr. Scholten here, and today we are going to explore cartoons a little bit. Now, cartoons is a really broad topic, and there's a lot of different ways to make cartoons. I'm not going to be able to hit on all of those today, but we're going to try 5 different cartoon faces, and you can apply those to the cartoon pineapple that we're going to draw together. Today's lesson is going to kind of look like this. First, we're going to draw our pineapple together, and then we're going to explore some different faces we can use for the inside of our pineapple. Finally, I'm going to show you how you can use coloring tools to create that 3D effect around the outside of your pineapple. Today you are going to need a pencil, an eraser, a permanent marker, and some sort of coloring tools. Today I'm going to be using colored pencils. So if you have colored pencils at home, go ahead and grab those. Alright, right now I'm going to show you how to create the pineapple for your cartoon pineapple. Later in the video, I'm going to show you some different ways you can make cartoon faces. You can choose to use the cartoon faces on a pineapple, like the one we're about to draw, or you could use these faces on a variety of other cartoon animals or personified foods or plants. To get started drawing, we're going to start with a pencil. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start down just a little bit higher than halfway on my paper, and I'm going to create an oval. This oval right here is going to be the outside of my pineapple, and we're going to edit that here before we trace it. So start with a pencil, and then I'm also going to create a smaller oval inside. This oval that I'm putting on the inside of my larger oval is going to signify where I'm going to make my pineapple face. I'm going to know that I won't be putting any of the lines for the texture of my pineapple through this area, so I can save all the details there for my eyes and my nose and my mouth, or whatever you're going to put in for your cartoon face. The next thing I'm going to do is create those squares for the texture of my triangle. So I'll start right here in the middle. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to track that line through my oval. I'm going to draw it down here. And I can do that over on the sides as well. You want somewhere between maybe 5 and 7 lines. I have 5 here. Okay. Then I'm going to rotate my paper, and I'm going to draw the same lines going horizontally across. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to keep tracking that line through my oval without drawing it. It'll help to make sure all of my lines stay about the same width apart, like that. Okay, now I want to add the diagonal lines. That's going to help us later create that 3D effect like you see here. So I have all my squares drawn. I need to draw those diagonal lines going through to make the triangles in each square. That's going to help us make that 3D effect later on in our video. I'm going to draw a diagonal line, and it should go from corner to corner on your squares. And since we're not drawing with a ruler, I don't know, maybe you did, I'm not drawing with a ruler, it's not quite perfect, so you're just going to have to, play with it a little bit. Now there are a lot of lines on here to keep track of, so if you're getting a little confused, that's okay. Just erase and use less horizontal and vertical lines. That'll make those shapes bigger and easier for you guys to kind of track what lines we've drawn and where you need to draw more lines. If this is working out good for you, keep going. I'm going to draw my diagonal lines going in the opposite direction now, and remember, I'm going from corner to corner on these squares, and that is really going to help you kind of keep track of what lines you've drawn, what you need to draw, what these lines mean. So really kind of make sure that you're going from corner to corner in these so you will end up with a square with an X through it, just like that. If this is hard for you to keep track of, you could always go back and draw your horizontal and vertical lines, and then just draw X's through each of those shapes. That's another way you could very simply add those X's into your squares there without getting too confused. Now, if you noticed on my example, you could tell that the outside of my pineapple wasn't just a perfect oval. It kind of had some texture to it. So I'm going to come through here and I'm just going to add kind of a bubble. Anytime I reach a square, in the middle of that square, I'm going to make a point here. And then when I get down to the bottom, I'm just going to let the bottom be smooth and then repeat that here. So I'm just kind of adding a little bump where each of those squares meets the sides of my oval. And that's just going to add to the texture of our pineapple. Now, to add the top of our pineapple, I am going to go ahead and start by drawing a straight line that goes up. I'm also going to draw a curved line that goes this way and a curved line that goes this way. I'm also going to add a smaller curved line that goes like this and a curved line that goes like this. These are going to be the centers of our leaves here on the top of our pineapple, and so I'm going to draw a line up on top and a line on the bottom that kind of meets here on the end. I'm going to start with the two large curved lines. I'm going to start here. I'm going to draw my rainbow and my smile. Same thing over here, rainbow, smile. Okay, now I can do the same thing up on top. I'm just going to draw a curved line that comes down and a curved line that comes down here. Now I'm going to come back to these here. I'm going to draw a curved line and a smile, curved line and a smile. Now if you want to be done, you could be done with just that there. But if you'd like to add some more, you can go into the negative space here and add another one, just like that. You could also add more in the negative space here. Okay, that just adds some visual interest. And honestly, you could continue doing that in these negative spaces if you'd like to. I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it just like this. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about how we can add some different cartoon faces in our pineapple. In art, cartoons are personified. We give human-like qualities to an animal or a plant or a food, like a pineapple with a face. Today we're going to talk about how to create some different cartoon faces so that you can personify pretty much whatever you want. So the first cartoon face that I'm going to show you is one that I tend to use a lot in my own cartoons. Here is an example of our cartoon that I've made.
So pretty.
I've also used this face on my example here, so you can see this is kind of where we are headed with this first look. So I'm going to go ahead and start here in the middle of my pineapple, and I'm going to draw a large circle on one side of my pineapple and repeat that shape over on the other side. Just like that. Now, I need to draw two more circles inside of that big circle. One circle will be for the iris, the other will be for the pupil. So I'm going to draw another circle just like this. And I'm going to repeat that over on the same side, just like this. If you wanted your pineapple to be looking really silly, you could have these two circles going in opposite directions. You could draw one off going this way and one off going that way. That would give it kind of a silly look. And then I'm going to add that second circle to the inside of that here. This is going to be for our pupil. Another way you can make this really silly is you could make them two different sizes. So because I've already done them the same here on this example, I'm actually going to do them two different sizes on here to show you what that might look like. So maybe I'll make this next one really small. Okay, just like so. All right, now before we do any coloring of our eyes, I'm going to add the shine in our eyes. So I always do this by adding two ovals just inside my pupil. So 1, 2 ovals just like this inside my pupil. One of the ovals is bigger, one of the ovals is smaller, and they're not quite touching. I'm going to try to repeat that here in this guy here. There we go. One really small one, one big one. And then I'm also going to add some eyelashes. You don't need to add eyelashes. If you like, you could add eyelashes like this, or you could add your own kind of eyelashes as well. And then I'm just going to make a smile. Once again, you can tell here on my example that I added the tongue sticking out. And so I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So coming from my mouth, I'm going to draw a letter U, but I'm actually going to kind of curve it a little bit. And by curving the letter U, it looks like the tongue is coming right out of the mouth there. You see how those lines are just slightly curved? And then I'm going to come back in here and draw a curved line right down in the center. All right, now I have a tongue sticking out. So let's go ahead and trace that with our Sharpie. I'm going to trace, but not color the biggest circle. That big circle is really pretty much the whites of your eyes, or represents the whites of your eyes, so we're going to leave that white. Here is my second circle. Okay, we're not going to color our second circle in either, because our second circle, that's the part we color. Some of you have brown eyes, some of you have blue eyes, some of you have green or hazel eyes. Okay, that's the part that we would color. But when I'm done tracing my ovals here, that very center circle is going to get colored. In fact, I'm going to color all of that in with my Sharpie. Like our pupils are black on our eyes, so are the pupils on a cartoon's eyes. And so I'm going to color that part in here. And the only part that I'm going to leave open are those two little ovals that are right here. I can go ahead and trace my mouth. You can kind of see where my tongue overlaps a little bit. You can do that too and erase that line in there. Okay, so here is an example of one way you could create your eyes, and a variation here of those same eyes that are a little bit more traditional, and then here's them looking a little more kooky. Okay, now you can do those with other things other than pineapples. You could really make this cartoon face on just about anything. For example, I've got a saguaro cactus here. Okay, I could use that face we just drew on that saguaro cactus and turn that saguaro cactus also into a cartoon. I've also created a sloth. This sloth here would look very fancy with those eyelashes, just like that. Okay, so that's another option. You could, once again, use this face on a sloth as well. This is not the only option that we have for a cartoon character, though. We really have lots of different kinds of faces you could draw with a cartoon. And so I'm going to draw a series of other faces and kind of show you what they would look like on our different characters here. Another way to draw a face, here's my face. Another way to draw a face, which is typically called a kawaii face or kawaii cartoon, is by drawing two circles really close to the outside of the face, kind of spread apart like that. I'm going to draw little circles on the inside, and then in between, almost the same level as those eyes, I'm just going to draw a curved line here. Okay, that makes for a really fun and kind of cute looking cartoon as well. So if you're really looking to make something cutesy here, this is a really fun way to do it. Once again, I'm going to color in that whole circle there, except for that dot I made in the inside. That's going to be the shine of the eye. Okay, here is what a kawaii face would look like on some of the different things that I've showed you already. So on our pineapple, this is what it would look like if it had the kawaii face. It definitely gives it a different feel, right? This is kind of silly, this is kind of cutesy. The same face there on our saguaro cactus would look like this. Another really great, kind of cute figure here. And then lastly, on our sloth. And that's kind of a fun sloth, isn't it? I like that. All right, now another option, if you're looking for something just a little different, if you really kind of like the silly look of some of the different cartoon faces that you've seen maybe on TV or in comics, here's a really fun face that I actually learned how to draw from an artist named Tim Rogers Jr. He makes some really fun dog paintings. He's a fine artist who makes dog paintings, and he's got some really fun cartoony faces that he puts on these dogs. These eyes I learned from Tim Rogers Jr. So I could start by just drawing two diagonal lines. They can overlap just a little bit like that. And then I'm going to draw a half circle here and a half circle here. And then inside that circle, I'm going to draw an oval here and an oval here. And I'm just going to draw a little triangle inside of there to make them look almost like lily pads. And then I'm just going to give them a little smug face here, like that. All right, now if we go to trace, I would trace all these lines here. But when I get to the inside, I would just leave that section kind of cut out there, just like you would with an actual lily pad. And then we can color in the center there. That's the pupil again. And then once again, we can take a look to see what this face would look like on some of the different characters that I've made. Okay. So for example, on our cartoon pineapple, if I add that Tim Rogers face, he would look something like that. Maybe he's looking kind of confused or just not happy, right? It's kind of a fun face to use. Once again, on our saguaro, there he is. Maybe he's just not thrilled. He's been stranded out in the desert. And then on I like this. This is great. This is on our sloth. Now, a prettier option, an option you might see on a picture of a princess or something like that. We're going to do that next. And so I'm going to start here with the eyes, and I'm going to draw almost like triangles here for the eyes, but they're going to be really curved. So I'm going to draw a curved line like this, and a curved line like this. And then I'm going to draw, starting here, not here on the outside, but inside a little bit, I'm going to draw a curved line coming down. Once again, I'm going to come right here, curved line coming down, just like that. And then I'm going to make a curved line that connects them, just like that. And then I'm going to come back up here, I'm going to turn that into an eyelash and add a couple extra eyelashes in here, just like that. I'm going to make an oval here and an oval here. And I'm going to repeat that oval on the outside. Once again, we have the white part of our eye, the iris, and the pupil. I'm going to put another one here. And then I'm actually going to make the shine kind of go over, almost overlap the iris and the pupil. And then I'm going to just give her some pretty kissy lips, like that. All right, let's go ahead and trace that. And once again, when I get to the shine, I don't want to, I'm going to leave that shape kind of whole there. And even if you're not interested in making a specific set of eyes or a specific face, you can try to draw along with me. It's fun to learn new things, and you'll never know when you might need to draw, you know, pretty princess eyes with kissy lips, right? I don't know when you would draw that, but it's fun to learn. Right there, just like that. Now, let's take a look and see how this face here is going to look really different from the faces we've already drawn. So I'm going to head back to my original pineapple, and with my princess eyes. Oh, look how pretty that pineapple is. Maybe she's a pineapple princess, right? I don't know. And the same face on my saguaro. It's pretty cool. And let's see how fancy our sloth got just by adding these great lashes on. Oh, look at how fancy that is. One fancy sloth right there. All right, I'm going to show you one more cartoon face that you can practice. Like I said, you can always practice it even if you're not excited to use it. And this one's going to be a little bit more complex. So if you don't get it right the first time, that's okay. We're going to pretend that this is my face here. Go ahead and just try and see what happens when you practice this. I'm going to make two kind of egg shapes here. Make an egg shape here and an egg shape here. They should kind of be touching. Okay, just like that. Now, right across these, I'm going to cut them in two, just like this. And you notice how my two lines aren't like perfectly on top of each other, or they don't go perfectly across. They kind of, one's a little bit higher than the other one. That's a good look for cartoons. It's kind of fun. And then I'm going to come around here. I'm going to start on the outside of my eye, and I'm going to make a curved line that goes like this. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Curved line that goes like this. These are going to be heavy lids. He's going to be like, I don't know, annoyed or real sad or tired or something. Okay, heavy lids over here. I'm just going to add a line over on that side because it's overlapping right here in the center. Then I'm going to add an oval here and an oval here. And I'm going to, let's add an angry eyebrow here. So I'm going to add angry eyebrow. Same thing here. All right. And let's give him an angry face. There we go. Now, when we go to outline this, there's a lot that we're not going to keep, and this is one of the reasons why this is a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to draw my eyelid over the top of my eye, just like this. And then I can draw the bottom of the egg here and color in my pupil, just like so. I can add my eyebrow, and once again, I'm not going to draw the top of the egg because it's under my angry eyebrow now. This might be how you're feeling after sitting inside for 5-6 weeks, right? It's kind of how I'm feeling. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's give him a little bag under his eye. Ugh. He looks tired. We can do our angry mouth. Just like that. Now, once again, let's take a look to see what this face would look like on several different characters. Okay, so once again, I'm going to start with my original pineapple. Okay, this is how my pineapple looks. Ooh, he looks like he's having a rough day in quarantine here. Okay. Or, again, on my saguaro. Oh man, I bet our sloth is going to look very tired. Oh yeah, oh look at that sad looking sloth. Right. So hopefully I've given you some options of what you can create using or combining different facial features from some of the different ones that we've drawn. Nothing says that your cartoon can't have these eyes with this mouth or these eyes here with this mouth. You could totally mix and match some of the different facial features that we've practiced in your own pineapple or whatever cartoon creation you're going to make. If you've made a cartoon pineapple with me, I'm going to show you next how I've created this kind of 3D effect using some different kinds of colored pencils so that you can recreate that on your own pineapple. So now that you have created your pineapple and you've decided on your face, I'm going to show you how to color your pineapple to give it that 3D effect. We've already drawn all these lines in here, and it kind of separates these squares into smaller triangles. We're going to use those smaller triangles to create that 3D effect. For this 3D effect, I'm going to use some dark colors and some light colors to create the shadows and highlights. Out of my colored pencil bin, I'm going to use light brown, I'm going to use tan, I'm going to use yellow-orange, and yellow. Okay, and I'm going to use them from dark to light. So on the bottom side of my triangle, that's where it's going to receive the most shadow. I'm going to use the darkest colored pencil. I'm going to use the light brown. So I'm going to actually do that right down here. I'm going to color that in. And when I color it in, I don't want to color super hard, but I just want to apply some color in there. That way there's space for the yellow to kind of blend in with the brown there. So I've colored that bottom shape in down here with my brown. Now I'm going to come in with my tan, and I'm going to do one of my side triangles. And when you do this, you always want to make sure that the same side is colored in every square. So I've used this tan on the right side triangle here on all of these squares here. So I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to use my tan on the right side here. I'm going to color in. Once again, I'm going to color in dark, but not dark enough that the yellow won't have any space to color in as well. And then in that last triangle, I'm going to use my yellow-orange, and I'm going to color that one in over here. All right, now this top triangle, I'm gonna leave that white for now because when I come back with my yellow and color inside that entire square, this square will be just pure yellow. All three of the other triangles in this square will mix with the yellow when I color it on. It is important that as you color, you apply a good amount of pressure this time, okay? You're gonna color harder than you did with any of your other colors. You're gonna apply a good amount of pressure, and you really wanna make sure you color over the top of everything. That's gonna provide some unity for your work. It's gonna look like the same color, but the same color is now under some shadow, okay? And so I'm gonna color in that entire square just like that. Now I've created that 3D effect. I have one square left, so I'm gonna do that again with you guys, just so you get a second look at how I colored my pineapple in with these colors here. So I'm gonna start with my darkest color on the bottom triangle, just like I did on all the other shapes here in my pineapple. Okay. On my right-hand side, I'm using my tan. If you don't have brown or tan, that's okay. You can choose other colors. Sometimes pineapples, when they're not quite ripe, they have a lot of green on the outside still, so you could use green and yellow green on the sides and still color over the top with yellow and get those shadow effects. I'm gonna come in here with my yellow orange, and then I'm gonna come over the top again with my yellow, applying lots of pressure. I'm gonna color in the entire square, including where I've colored before. And now, my pineapple has a 3D effect. For my face, I really liked the colors that mixed together when I used yellow and tan. I thought that gave it a really nice kind of pineapple-y color. So I started with the tan and colored lightly, just like I did in all the triangles. And then I colored over the top of it with the yellow to give it that kind of pineapple-y color. I really like that color. So I use that throughout the face here, as you can see. Good luck trying to make these 3D shapes within your pineapple, and have fun. Remember, you have lots of opportunities to practice. So if your first square doesn't turn out perfect, you can continue to keep trying. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a really good time creating your cartoon pineapple. If you've created a cartoon pineapple or any other personified food or plant or animal, please send it my way so I can see what you made. Have a great day. Thank you so much.